They can be in this at any moment. They just gotta up their mental game, let their talent speak.
Amazing placement. What a shot.
That was a Yahtzee overhead.
Aspect of mental toughness here that's just different.
I like the body language of all four players.
Oh, look at that shot! Great hands from Kiro.
Hello and welcome to the 2023-2024 APTA Tour presented by Volley. We are live from the Orchard Lake Country Club in West Bloomfield Township, Michigan, bringing you the 2024 Detroit Invitational Grand Prix, which is the 12th stop on the 2023-24 APTA Tour, with live streaming brought to you by the APTA membership, the APTA national sponsors, Volley, Infusion, and local sponsors. DIAG, Detroit Platform Tennis Association, Asset Health, Jack McNaughton, Lux Homes, Gen Oil, Crest Automotive, Thursday night OLCC guys, Capsiva, Wednesday night OLCC guys, Etkin Real Estate, Bank Rifkin, and Wilson Partners. I'm Guy Moore along with Brad Easterbrook, bringing you the men's semifinals between Drew Broderick and Scott Kaylor and Jose Salazar and Alvi Regalado. Welcome, Brad.
All right, Guy, we're looking forward to a great matchup here. These guys actually played each other, I think, or maybe it was Salazar and Nunez, Broderick and Kaylor, and they beat them in straight sets in Pittsburgh. But take a quick look at the players on the court first. We got on the top left of your screen, Alvi Regalado in the black hat, his partner in the pink hat, the nice pom-pom there, Jose Salazar, and then Drew Broderick just walking out the door in the Knuberg hat, and Scott Kaylor is the lone camper there walking towards the door. This is going to be a 2 out of 3 set match, and the umpire for our match today is Frank Willard, and as you can see out there, it's snowing, and it's going to be snowing throughout the morning through probably all our matches here, and we got the men's semi, then the women's final, and then the men's final right after that. So looking forward to a good slate here. Guy, what do you think about this match?
It's going to be a great match. I mean, you have two teams that are willing to play slow. Hopefully the weather doesn't have a factor or impact. It looks, the courts, the heaters are keeping up with it so far, and hopefully if it stays this way, it'll be that way where we actually have a match where these teams play the way they want to play, because when it gets slick and wet, that changes everything. The game becomes much faster. But, Drew Broderick and Scott Kaylor know each other really well. This is their second tournament together this year, but you're right. I mean, they had a great tournament in Pittsburgh, had a nice win. And Jose Salazar and Alvi Regalado from their match yesterday against Juan Araya and Graham McNerney. I mean, what a long, grinding match, but their maturity level and the way they're becoming more disciplined is really nice to see.
That's great. So it looks like actually overall, it's like the battle of the pink shoes against the white shoes here. And so we got Jose Salazar actually out there to serve. Yeah, these players all know each other very well. I do think, the heaters are doing a pretty good job. But I think we're going to definitely see people testing out the cuts and see if the ball skids at all. It looked like it was playing pretty well as it was out there. All right, here we go. And there we go, Jose Salazar to serve, starting us off. His partner, Alvi Regalado, just hit that volley there.
And this is where I'm interested to see how Scott Kaylor and Drew Broderick mix up their lobs, try to confuse their opponents at the net a little bit. See how they're both kind of, even right there, you see how they're both kind of moving towards the same ball. That's what I'm interested in seeing. They're both kind of hanging back by the service line.
Yeah, I expect this match to be a real grind. These guys don't hit a ton of cut overheads. They will hit rollers, but they will definitely and have no problem. None of these players have a problem playing slow, looking for the lob. neither one of them, either Broderick or Kaylor, bring a ton of offense on a slow ball that comes to them. They're just more content to lob and wait till something comes harder off the screen or wait for a specific ball, like that high one to Broderick's forehand. Otherwise, it's kind of a mix of probing drives.
And Brad, both Scott Kaylor and Broderick have good backhands in the middle. So the middles, there's some offense there. In fact, Drew Broderick trusts his backhand probably more than his forehand. He steps in, he commits to it. What he does is baits you to go to that forehand where he can give you that high slash over there. Especially off one wire, he'll hit a big-time cutter on that. Like he's looking for that right there.
Yeah, he's hitting. That's a lot of drives to start.
Yeah. And when Broderick drives that ball down the line, he's not trying to win the point at all. He's just trying to make the ball change direction, which it has. It goes straight over to Scott Kaylor, which is the movement they want. And so far, the court isn't an issue.
Yeah, they're testing out whether this ball's going to skid. So far, none of those did. If they really want to test it out, though, they want to drop it a little lower, push it more through the court, worry less about cutting around the outside of it. Just have it travel low and through with a little kind of side and backspin. But right now, the court looks like it's playing absolutely perfectly.
Nice cover by Broderick. It's going to be interesting, too, as the match develops. As they're kind of moving the ball side to side here. Sometimes the positioning breaks down just a little bit. Great ball. I love that shot.
Against a team that's willing to lob a lot and then they're back in the box like that, they're way back near the back screen, hit a hard overhead every now and then to make them move up and chase. And that time it was the perfect time because he had actually Broderick almost moving into it. He had to get out of the way, then he couldn't right himself before he got there. So great shot there. Good hold from Regalado.
Yeah, I think that roller and deep in the court where you're, like you said, Brad, your first concern is getting out of the way, and then you got to chase. So.
And of course, on our other streaming court, we have another semifinal match. Humphreys and Assis Koenig got through a tight one with Ong and Steinman, and then 6-love, 6-1 against Bentheim and Rams. So they're taking on Burris and Nunez. Back to full health. That should be a good one. We'll get scores for that as well as we move along. Or check it out on our second streaming court. So far, doing some good damage with the overheads. It's Broderick to chase on the last two.
Yeah, it's a good combination of the roller and the flash there.
Now, there's an interesting play that you see now. Kaylor is one of those guys. He's tall, about 6'3", right? And he loves to use the waterfall overhead. Oh, just a missed volley there. Salazar, but I don't think that's going to work very well. Regalado's tall. He likes to move forward. He got stuffed on that one. Good drive, forces the volley air. That's a winner. Beautiful.
I'll tell you what, that forehand from Salazar is, it is a laser. Even that ball off the screen, but he just gets on top of it so quick.
Yeah, and these guys, he can hit off both sides. He's got a solid backhand too.
Yeah.
They have plenty of offense back there, but they're patient about it. I've never seen Regalado actually hit the backhand. He pretty much stays at the lob until to move. Will move up the side wire. That typical move players make, but he's got a good forehand. Dink and blitz.
It's interesting too, you know, with all the new players that we have on the tour, on the men's side and on the ladies' side as well. But you know, this group of out.
Yeah, I thought that ball was going wide too, Guy.
Yeah, it looked like it. But you know, the way they've learned the game and the way they're playing it early on in their careers is I tell you what, it's not an easy thing to do, and they've really bought into it, and they've learned the game in the way it's being played now. But it's also nice to see them develop the discipline to be able to play slow and not get caught up in all the transition. I mean, there's been very little transition here where you see some of these other teams are.
Yep, great call there. He let it go, and that ball clipped the line. So a couple of break points now here for Salazar and Regalado. Yeah, you're right. Those guys, though, I mean, to me, they play like quintessential paddle. You know, they're lobbing, looking for offense, and waiting for their opportunity to take it, and they take it at the right time, and they do it extremely well. You know, they're actually not really working those points that are heavy transition. They're trying to keep the pace manageable, keep it under control, and it's worked great for them. I mean, they're mowing through their 2 tournament wins already. They have not won a Grand Prix yet, so they're knocking on the door this time.
Yeah, those 2 sets they played yesterday against McNerney and Araya, the first and third set, I mean, that was, like you said, quintessential paddle. I mean, just patience. Great scheme at the net. From the baseline, move the ball around well.
All right, so that's our first break. Great job by them. Yeah, the third set was, unfortunately, it came down to this game at 2-1, and then they fell back in to, like, the trap. Araya and McNerney of just pushing the ball, and not really looking for any offense. They lost that game, and then right at the end of it, Araya started cramping, and the match was over. I thought we were in for a good hour more in that third set, but the match was over in about 5-10 minutes after that because Araya was pretty much done. Good play there. He holds that little forehandy kind of grip over there, Regalado, and just sort of dinks it on there. All right. Jose Salazar serving.
Yeah, it's an interesting grip, you know, using that kind of semi-Western grip to push that ball down the line a few minutes ago, and then that little drop.
And it works great on his little push shots. Oh, that's smart. He's making him chase, but good cover there. Well done. Oh, I think Broderick plugged Kaylor. I'm surprised why Kaylor stayed on that side, though, too. If I were him, I would have ran all the way to the other side right away because he's not covering the next. I'm wondering if it's a little slippery. These guys are using the short balls on purpose to draw these guys up and in and make these guys move. And it's worked wonders so far.
Absolutely. And Salazar and Regalado aren't letting Kaylor and Broderick play their game at all. They're controlling the tempo. I think you're going to see a lot more of that heavy, hard-hit roller by Regalado. I mean, the times he's hit it, it has Broderick and Kaylor on their heels. So, and it also sets up that slash because you're not sure what's coming.
Yeah, they've done a great job mixing up because not only they've hit the hard roller, but then they're hitting drop shots as well. So mixing the paces, pushing them and drawing them in. And I don't know if you remember. All right, so Scott Kaylor to serve right now, down love 3. The match we called together, I think it was Rams and Bostrom, actually, against Broderick in Chicago. Yeah. And it was Broderick and Christian, actually, in Chicago. And you remember at one time in that match, it was a really, really tight affair. Broderick and Rams and Bostrom started just hitting these really short balls, you know, kind of drawing Broderick in, and it worked wonders for him. I don't know if Regalado and Salazar are taking a page out of the book, or maybe it's just a little slippery out there. So they're, oh boy, they're just flat right now too, Broderick, Kaylor.
Yeah, that was an interesting concept. It created the transition and made them get off the baseline and made them speed the point and tempo of the match up for sure.
And it worked tremendously for them. And I wonder if they kind of took a page out of that, you know, because they've hit already, how many drops? About 4 or 5 drops already. And we haven't seen, you know, Kaylor and Broderick even wake up yet. You know, they're not really into this yet.
Yeah, no rhythm so far. They'll get there, though. And you're starting to see a little bit more of the net scheme where Drew's going to hit more overhead. You see Kaylor clearing off to his left, which I agree with. Lefty overhead from Broderick, some spin. Kaylor's overhead doesn't have too much spin on it at all, so he hits a lot of smart overheads, but
off the net, Kaylor's got a good offensive volley. He closes in well. He's got a good drop volley. He's good at cutting off the balls. But he's pretty much just, the game is based completely around steady play, opportunistic drive when he gets it. And he can hit the high forehand. If you sort of dump it at him, he really doesn't, you know, kind of crush the ball off the deck. You see the court there. It's dry in the back. That was long. So a chance for their first game here. So the ball cuts are moving, but no sliding at all. Right now it's been nice play. It's actually kind of idyllic out there. I love playing in the snow.
let's see if Regalado unloads on one of these overheads again.
I think he's looking for it. I think what they're trying to do is wait till he's way in the back, and they're just going to have to pull that. They're going to have to lot better and take that off-pace drive away. But right now they're just moving him out of position, 40-30.
Yeah, those medium-pace balls are going to continue to get dropped. If they can't get the ball up in terms of a lob, it's got to be a drive with some pace.
All right, think of some props here to Lincoln, who's just the director here, but just doing a ton of work here for the Detroit Grand Prix over here at the Orchard Lake Country Club. Beautiful spot out here. On the lake, it's gotten warmed up, but from what I hear, just a couple of days ago, it was they were having hockey games on all the lakes out here. It was freezing for days and days. Yeah, just another short ball there, kind of just baiting them forward. And if creating them up and in, and then they'll come hard back at them. They're making them scramble, work.
Look at all the forehand volleys being hit, Brad. I mean, they're targeting those areas, but I said it a couple live streams ago, the forehand volleys of all these players have gotten so much better, even though we don't teach it, because these drives are being spotted. The hands are just...
Oh, boy, just tough run. They had a game point there, and it turns right around on 5 points in a row, or 4 points in a row there for Regalado and Salazar. Footing is tough. And it definitely does look like he's struggling moving, and you can hear Broderick in the background talking about footing's tough. And Regalado and Salazar recognizing that, doing a great job making a move, you know, with the short ball, the hard overhead, the rollers at the corner.
Yeah, Broderick and Kaylor are getting a lot of looks at offense for sure.
Terrific lob there from Kaylor.
And this is where Salazar and Regalado just dial in. They're willing to play long points. They're not fooled by any spin. They cover for each other.
Good lob. Oh, he'll take it.
All right. 7 drop shots to 1 now.
Yeah, they're making their comeback. Although technically that wasn't even a drop shot, just a lead court winner.
Right. We'll just count it for Kaylor.
He spots him well. They're doing a great job, like you said, flipping that paddle over and playing that forehand volley. Look at that coverage there from Regalado. I think that was wide. Yep, good call. This is the waterfall in the corner.
And what happened to previous point, I'd like to see a little bit more of. You'll start to see Broderick coming over even behind that hash and taking some of those balls as backhands, but all he's doing is baiting the players to come back to his forehand where he could tomahawk that. But I like that rhythm. Broderick needs movement, and that's what he's creating.
All right, so the match begins. Broderick Kaylor on the board.
Brad, let me tell you about one of our sponsors. Volley is a proud sponsor of the APTA as the first IA-enabled training experience. Volley modernizes racket sports by delivering the on-demand dynamic system for live play training and better workouts. Volley creates a community to connect pros and players while giving users personalized performance insights to track progress and customize their practice. Ask your pro about a volley lesson today. For more information, visit getvolley.com.
That is a cool machine, the volley machine. They did some demos out here yesterday. So we got Humphreys Osas Koenig up 2-1 against Burris Nunez. Game point for Burris Nunez. Everybody just underway here. See if Kaylor and Broderick can start building a little momentum after they got their first game.
Yeah, this is, needless to say, an important game. There we go.
Yeah, just did not play that corner properly there. Regalado bit forward like he was going to block it, but wasn't even close to it. No chance.
I look for Broderick and Kaylor to kind of get in lockdown mode here, and some of the errors they made in those first few games, just getting into it, I think we're going to see a lot fewer mistakes.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, certainly if they don't clean them up, I don't think they're going to have a chance in this match because, yeah, that first game they missed 3 drives, but they're normally so good at making you beat them, like hitting great shots, and then they volley really well. I was talking to Broderick a little, before this match. He was talking about their win over Durant Mitchell, and he said, we were just rock solid, and we didn't miss a single volley probably the whole match, even their best strikes. And those guys are both great volleyers, so if they do that, they're like a brick wall up there. Great cover.
And another thing about Kaylor Broderick, these guys have known each other for a long time. Kaylor's a Pittsburgh guy, but he actually came out to Jersey, and when Broderick left to go to Canoebrook, was at Essex Fells for about a year, and just really, really good team and great communication. They listen to each other and talk, and they're on the same page. So you're seeing them start to do what we just discussed. You're going to see a lot fewer errors from them. That's not their style.
All right, 2 games in a row now and building some momentum. And Salazar and Regalado, a few errors now. Good drive there from Kaylor.
Yeah, Kaylor's drive's deceptive. It gets on you very quick, and it's a heavy ball. Even though it's flat, it's heavy. And what I mean by that, it just, when it hits your paddle, you feel it. You got to pay attention.
Broderick getting a little greedy with his spot there. There was some room, but he pushed it wide. And as these guys settle into their strategy and their rhythm too, you'll probably notice that the drop shot winners have completely died off. We had about 6 or 7 like in the first couple of games. And once these guys starting to get their lobs up and choosing the right drives, those things won't be available there for Regalado and Salazar. They're going to have to find other ways to create movement in the team back there.
Notice in the backcourt, Brad, how far over Broderick's starting to play, and that's the drive I was talking about. You see, he's way, I don't want to say way, but he's well beyond that center hash mark, driving that backhand to create the movement back to his forehand side. 40-15, Salazar serving. See if they can take advantage of that fault.
Great drive there from Broderick. He's unloading on a few forehands now. I love seeing that.
Yep.
Oh, now Salazar and Regalado have missed the last 4 or 5 drives they've taken. It's cold out there. The ball's a little wetter. Make some adjustments, make sure they're finishing up on that thing. We're right here at deuce from 40-15. This would be great for them to get it to 4-3 for Broderick and Kaylor. Huge difference between that and 5-2. Yeah, they're creating a little confusion now with that cross-court lob.
And there's the move that Broderick likes. Kind of shrinking the middle, baiting his opponents to go to his left side over there.
Oh, that's another one. That lob right there specifically is giving fits now to Salazar and Regalado. The one that they're hitting over, sort of like kind of with a cross-court angle in between the two players. And right now, they've had 3 miscommunications in that point as to who was taking it. And we got a break point here for Broderick and Kaylor. Broderick unloads on the forehand here or not. Yeah, he's just teeing it up right now. Good job. Make that volley there from Salazar.
And one thing about Broderick too, Brad, is that because he has both wings, he's usually just looking for one. Like, notice there, he drove the backhand, but he's going to lob the forehand. You won't see him drive both sides unless, obviously, it's a weaker, shorter, high ball. He's the combination of drive and then fall into what we call lob recovery. You're back up, you're looking to lob the person you just drove against and to create the confusion that you just talked about.
Yeah, and then what you're talking about also is he's looking for specific plays. Like he'll hit a certain lob to an area, and he's going to then set up for his backhand, knowing the lob's more likely to go to that side. He sets up for one or the other, and if he doesn't get it, then he just lobs the other side, and that's a great comeback in that game, down 40-15. 4 points in a row, confusion with the lobs, and right in this match after being down 4-love.
And you kind of see the tempo of the matches change. In the beginning, Regalado and Salazar were not making any mistakes, but the points weren't long enough because Kaylor and Broderick were making some uncharacteristic mistakes, and now the kind of roles have reversed. But Kaylor and Broderick slowed it down. Like you said, the drop shot's been eliminated for the moment. And to be honest with you, that was the shot that was hurting him the most.
Yeah, they're just lobbing better and lobbing more intentionally. In those first 4 games that Broderick and Kaylor lost, Broderick and Kaylor were basically chasing every overhead and not hitting good lobs. Now they're lobbing more intentionally, getting the ball deeper, and then Salazar and Regalado, they're the guys getting moved around.
So let's go back to what you said earlier, too, about what Bosterman Rams did in Chicago. I do think that is an interesting play here, and creating some of the transition and movement would be a decent strategy for those guys.
Yeah, I agree. You know, kind of just a short ball. Whenever you get a chance to draw these guys forward a little and put them out of position and then create some movement either behind them or at them, I like the play for them when they get the opportunity.
Yeah, and I have to say, too, I feel this way with Durant. I feel this way with Regalado. You know, when these guys can hit that roller and put a bit of fear in you, and I say that kindly, you know, of just getting out of the way because you don't want to get hit by the ball, I still think it's underutilized.
Yeah,
I mean,
a hard overhead, you know, like the thumping one that really makes the guy chase after, get out of the way. Yeah, it certainly can be used. I think that was a Kaylor volley. You don't usually see Broderick reach like that, but it was not the best overhead. Got him set up there for a ripping drive.
right, that overhead's got to go to the side screen.
Yep.
If it doesn't, you're going to see that type of miscommunication happen. In fact, when that overhead like that doesn't go to the side screen, Brad, I mean, that the person who hit it, which was Kaylor then, I mean, he's basically playing 85-90% of the court by himself because Broderick has to hang on his line.
Oh, the hands there. Good move.
Yeah, for sure. And we haven't seen that type of transition really today. Be interesting, too, if I spin. That ball just did not come up.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting, too, Brad, to see if they learned anything from that play with Alvy's backhand, if they lob Kaylor a little bit more to try to get that pattern to happen again and again, because I think it's a good one. Like
No,
here.
absolutely. Yep. Pushing Kaylor
There it
back.
is. That's what I'm talking about.
There's the short ball, smart play, and another one, making a move. Now they're going to go behind. Still good. Great great play there from Kaylor and Broderick. But good play for them. Yeah, now they got to get those lobs up a little. There we go. Well, I think on a whole, Guy, you're absolutely right, but I think as a whole, the more they can get Kaylor to play overheads, the better it is for them in general.
Absolutely. And Kaylor is such a smart player that he's not going to give you anything, but his overhead isn't going to hurt you the same way a lefty spin overhead from Broderick is.
That's a good spotted backhand. Broderick, he picks away with that backhand. Accurate, low, tough shot. And there.
Yeah, and Brad, he holds it so well. That's a great ball there. He was looking for that.
Yeah,
he holds it so well that not sure whether it's going to be a lob or a drive, so your footwork at the net's a little unstable.
All right, after being down love 30 now, Broderick and Kaylor have had sort of the answers of turning these games around. They took a game down 40-15 before their comeback. Now they're down love 30, and game point for them. Good job. And just getting fooled on a few of these balls. There was a missed spin overhead there. Should have flipped that to his backhand side, but great overheads, making it right in the crease, making it tough on him.
And that's the full hand Kaylor's looking for. He likes to hit that.
Okay, so there's an overrule. Question called out by Kaylor and Broderick, and overruled by Frank Willard. So it's 15 love now for Salazar and Regalado. Hold on, he's going to serve that again. Yeah, so Broderick wasn't ready. Okay. That'll be Regalado serving. Oh, that's a good ball behind him. Nice dig. Right at the crease. That's perfect combination. And some of that will happen every now and then. Broderick's covering so much court in that backcourt. If he doesn't get the lob up and get back, by the time he got pulled out of position.
I'd still like to see, it seems like, Salazar and Regalado can both hit that roller, but I'd like to see more of them. I think it keeps Kaylor and Broderick. There's the move. That's what he's looking for. That's what they got to be careful about.
Wow, they're just making some loose errors now. Got to be careful. Salazar, Regalado. Yeah, he's totally looking for that. He's setting up that high forehand. He's moving to the middle, hitting the drive, then a quick lob up, baiting you almost to go back. Nice cover there from Salazar.
Yeah, and this is the net scheme that I like. Be careful with that. And see, Kaylor has that little push volley too. I like that shot a lot.
Yeah, he's faking the drop shot and then trying to get you to bite forward.
Yeah.
Broderick spin overheads are definitely working these guys a little. They're not able to stay steady. I don't know if the weather has something to do with it. Ball looks like it's playing completely true. It will pick up moisture, the ball, though. It's a little heavier. Got to make some adjustments. We haven't seen, like, a ton of, like, big thumping offensive drives, and I think there's one of them. But great get. Transition ball back, coming in. Well, I couldn't see if it was out, but now I'm pretty sure that Broderick missed that one.
Yeah.
He had a great move there with the dink and blitz.
Let's see if these Salazar and Regalado are going to hit a few more rollers here to set up that drop.
But you wanted to hit more of the heavy roller, too. That was a good off-pace one, though. But all right. So it's a tale of 4-game runs, and now it's 5-4 Regalado Salazar. And this is the moment, where everybody bears right down, right here at the end of the set. And it's taking its shape now, completely changed. Down 4 love. Broderick, Kaylor starting slow, getting moved around the court. They find their footing, hit some good lobs. And, but now we got a little bit back to the play. A couple more drop shots out of there. Good movement in that game for Salazar and Regalado.
Yeah, and I think although the court seems pretty good, you are seeing some balls get misplayed because there is some ball will skid slightly. I like them setting Salazar's backhand up in the middle like that too, because he steps in and rips that so well.
Yeah, he can hit both. That's the overhead that's been doing a lot of damage. He's cutting the ball into Regalado there. He's making him stretch the other side. Putting some action on this one right here. Tough. Well played off the deck there. Yeah, Broderick is definitely doing some damage.
And this is where, going back to years ago when Broderick and Jared Palmer played together, that's the net scheme that won them 3 straight national championships. Jared Palmer's hands at the net and Drew just putting a lot of pressure on his opponents with that overhead. And that's why I think Kaylor and Broderick have been successful too. They know exactly what they're both looking for in their job descriptions and the scheme that works. All rare missed overhead by Broderick.
Yeah, it was the right shot. Just hit it long.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see if they go back to Salazar and Regalado trying to get Kaylor to hit more overheads. It looks like they are.
Yeah, it's good luck.
Absolutely. He's
going to move over. Yeah, he's got to be careful with that. He's hitting that down up overhead.
That's
right into the Regalado forehand.
Yeah, and that's the pattern Salazar and Regalado should be looking to set up, which they are. I think the adjustment too for Kaylor is if he's going to go over there, you better get the ball to the wire.
That's
side
right.
back.
Yeah, a good rule of thumb for a lot of players, club level players, is really no overhead should go inside the service box unless they're getting to the side wire. Otherwise, you want to kind of keep it deep in the court.
Yeah, and I think we would agree that in the perfect world too, that you hitting overheads means that overhead going to the screen, not something where your opponents can block it back over and over again, because that speeds a point up, and speed generally doesn't favor the team at the net.
It's a great move again for Broderick, sneaking over there, and he's really making them work, and he's baiting them into the corner. But those quick moves out there, and they're having some confusion in the middle there. Keep finding that spot.
Yeah, that's the big adjustment I believe Broderick and Kaylor made games ago when they got on that 4-game run. Is Drew became, they started a little flat beginning of the match, and then the movement from Broderick and the rhythm and the baiting is worked very well for them. And that's exactly what Broderick does best anyways. And he's right in his wheelhouse. Got to be careful with that, Scott Kaylor.
Yeah, I don't know. It was deep enough, so he got away with that one. But as soon as he makes a little mistake with that spot.
And I can promise you Broderick and Kaylor will communicate and try to eliminate that, because that's the ball that makes Regalado unpredictable.
Yeah, right now, I don't see like a lot of lob. It's more defensive lobbing right now from Regalado and Salazar. I don't see him kind of moving them out of position. They're just sort of waiting for an opportunity, but they're not really lobbing them back. Broderick's hit about 18 overheads in a row. But they are staying steady, and they are committed to being under control, not going for anything unless they got it.
And a lot of that, too, is because of the Broderick overhead with the spin. It kind of, like you said, pushes them back. They're not on their heels, but they're a step back. So that tells you they're looking to lob the next ball.
Whenever Salazar is hitting that lob and he's getting Kaylor to hit it, though, I think they got to shift to the left side of the court and put Salazar's backhand in the middle and Regalado go up the side wire. They're just letting the ball go down the center right now. And there's nothing there.
Another interesting thought here, too, is, and I thought it should have happened in the match yesterday, although Araya and McNerney had a great second set. But you have these long points like this, it's a good time in the backcourt to switch, because it will give them different looks. And it sometimes changes that overhead scheme, too, in terms of where you're hitting your overheads, because the offense is different when they switch sides in the backcourt.
Yeah, I've seen very little of Salazar playing to the others on the other side of the court. But he does when he plays with Nunez, or no? Nunez still played the ad side. And, as much as these guys have exploded onto the screen, they've still really only played like a year or so. I'm not sure he's even as comfortable over there yet. Oh, Kaylor gets back there, can't open his face underneath it. Tough return and a good transition play.
Yeah, and I think that's where the court comes into play just a little bit. I mean, that first step, especially in the front part of the court where it's wet, it's hard to trust it.
That's good lob there. Broderick is dialing in on deep little spin overheads.
I tell you what, if I'm Salazar and Regalado, I would be having the conversation where Salazar says, Alvy, I'm going to lob the ball down the line to Scott Kaylor, and the next time he hits that, crack it just like that. That's what I'm talking about.
Absolutely, and that is the play. And, you know, it's funny. It's like the announcer thing. You say it, and then it happens, and we're wondering why it hasn't happened before. They're just struggling controlling the lob, but I agree with you 100%, Guy. You know, they should make this play and then see them shift in the backcourt looking for their offense. And we're not seeing a lot of that. It's more like they're kind of waiting for it to come. But that time it did, and it was perfectly played.
Yeah.
Nice. Good transition back. Good defensive volleying there.
And notice, too, how there was that bang-bang transition, and then the whole point just went back to neutral by them hitting a softball into the screen and soft overhead into the screen, and just started the point over. It allows them to get in position and slow things down.
All right, set point here for Regalado and Salazar on a missed backhand there from Broderick. Oh. See, that's the lob right there from the deuce side of the middle of the court. Cross court to the right quadrant. That's definitely giving Regalado and Salazar some issues.
And you see Kaylor and Broderick aren't in any rush here to switch back right now. That's intentional.
Yeah, I love the idea of different looks and switching in the backcourt. I think it's great.
Now, this is the time, too, where I think Regalado should just unwind on a hard roller to that ad side.
Yeah, I think any type of movement that's transitional like that, even if the other team's coming through and hitting it back on you, it helps them. It gives them an advantage. Not only that, it is an intimidating shot. You're right.
Well, especially, too, it's a different kind of movement because Kaylor really hasn't. I mean, Kaylor could play either side all day long in a sleep.
Oh, and there it is. All right, so game in first set.
We will be right back in just a moment after these messages, right here on your APTA YouTube channel presented by CPTC.
So what really interested me about the trainer was the endless opportunities with it. I've gone through a couple ball machines in my career before, and this really was a technologically advanced machine that I've never seen before. Digging into it a little more in depth, I really found the opportunities to use it in my advantage. All right, ladies, just 1 minute, we'll get started. Always trying to recreate these tennis ball machines into paddle ball machines to practice, and this was the first thing on the market that really came out. We have a robust membership here, very active in the paddle community, and I think the volley is going to kind of put us over top as a program. All right, ladies, welcome. All right, today we're going to go over our side back screens. So we've got the volley trainer out here with us today. We'll have two on this side hitting. So the cool part about the volley is during lessons when I'm able to use it is I really get a more in-depth connection with my clients. So when I have a lesson out on the court, I can set up the volley to feed a screen, and I don't have to be on the other side of the court kind of yelling to them what they need to change, what they need to do while I'm hitting. I'm really using my my time with them right next to them to make those changes quicker so they can have more success in the long term. Bridget's on the net, Robin sliding over. We are going to be beat by this cross-court lob a lot. I'm Blake Anderson, Director of Rackets at Fairmont Country Club. Try the volley at your club and you won't regret it.
Welcome back to the APTA Tour. We are live from the Orchard Lake Country Club, bringing you the 2024 Detroit Invitational Grand Prix. We're in the semifinal round of the men's tour here between Drew Broderick, Scott Kaylor, Alvy Regalado, and Jose Salazar. Brad, great first set. Kind of the tale of two sets there, 4 game runs by Kaylor and Broderick, and then 4 game run by Regalado and Salazar. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it was exactly as you said. They did a good job. I mean, they just came out flat, Broderick and Kaylor. Then they sort of righted the ship. And it's a strange situation where you're winning a lot of games because your opponents are making errors, and then all of a sudden they just get better, right? And then Regalado and Salazar really didn't know what to do. So they made a few, and then it kind of settled into a nice couple of games there at the end. Yeah, it was just a couple execution errors. I think it settled into the match we're going to see now in this second set. And it really comes down to which team can kind of execute their ability to, create this movement here. If they're able to attack, use that roller, get them off balance here, Regalado and Salazar, will do a good job. And conversely, if they can do it in the backcourt and move, get Kaylor to hit that lob, use that play we talked about before where they develop the offense. Both these teams, it's really close in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if, from the backcourt, Salazar and Regalado recognize that pattern. I'm sure that they do, because they basically used it to win, that last game of the first set.
It's interesting, though. You watch Regalado and, Salazar play, and they use their length a lot at the net, more than just getting into position. You see them reach for a forehand volley, but they do such a good job of keeping the overheads deep. They can kind of see the drives coming.
Something that's a little off topic, but I'm recognizing it, especially with a lot of these newer players, Salazar and Regalado being good examples. They're not using that sidearm topspin serve at all. So I wonder if that was a little bit more of a fad. I mean, I don't see as many players using that anymore.
Yeah, I think it's going back the other way. And these guys actually, Regalado and Salazar, they don't even really hit a challenging serve. They just kind of roll it in the box and get in, and they concentrate more on just getting up to net and using their hands, getting in the right position, and that's tough. If they're not controlling the play there, they're getting burned by these drop volleys. In fact, that was how the set ended. Broderick came in to hit a mid-court ball, and that's why you want to use that short ball to to draw them in, because in these quick exchanges, when you've drawn Broderick and Kaylor in, they've had the better of it for sure right now.
And going back to the serve too, when I was watching the match yesterday too, I think, we talk about players' strengths and weaknesses, but Salazar and Regalado, one of their biggest strengths is their first volley. So their serves have plenty of spin on it, plenty of movement, but they're just, I don't know when I've seen them miss a first volley, which is a huge part of the game.
Yeah, no question. They get in really well. They have terrific hands, and they concentrate more about how they're getting in, and if your opponent just crashes it, they're both long. They just take 2 steps back, and they just transition back, take it off the screen. So they have a good, scheme and understanding of how they're getting in behind it. And I think that's always the biggest thing. People oftentimes are always concentrating on, I gotta hit a serve. Now, yeah, it's great if you have a challenging serve, but for a lot of players, it's more important to concentrate on how you're getting in and the service strategy you're going to use to be able to make that first volley.
And I think, in that first game there, you saw it happen a couple times where, them hitting shorter volleys to create the movement and transition from Broderick, Kaylor, And then when they're recovering back, throwing in that drop shot. I mean, such an effective combination of shots. So there's that same play we've been talking about. And notice Regalado just hit that first drive, completely looking for it, hit that first drive to pull Scott Kaylor in, and then went after the second one when he got a short volley. And I think this game is very important for Broderick Kahler. I think everyone's obviously deep in this match now. We're not – if the team wins 4 straight games, again, I don't think they're going to lose a set. So.
Yeah, no, they got to come out here. It's definitely a danger zone for these guys. Ooh. He's got caught. That spin just took him for a ride. I'm wondering if every now and then the ball like skids and straightens out and then moves, because I've seen that 2 or 3 times now from Salazar and Regalado. But Broderick is putting a bit of action on that. That's a fault for the game. That's unfortunate. 2-love now.
Yeah, that front part of the not the back part of the service boxes looks like it could catch and be a little slippery. I like that move by Regalado. He saw it.
Yeah, and he's going to cut it off, and he's going to play that drop volley again. And when he executes it, it's been a really good play for them. That time he was a little far out of his stretch zone, but still, it's been working wonders. Even that, like just a shorter ball, move him up and in, get a little shorter lob, attack again.
It's funny, too, Brad. Watch Regalado. He just, see how casual he is right now? I mean, he's 100% ready, but he's just standing there.
Yep. No, he's got his arm like down by his right hip because he's actually a little more forehand dominant anyway with his stuff. It's kind of funny, but he's looking to pounce at the last second. But it's unique because it's literally the exact opposite of sort of like Kaylor and Broderick, who are in there in backhand volley ready position up at the net.
Right.
It's kind of funny. I definitely wouldn't teach it that way. But players at this level, you got to do what you do, and you have a certain skill set. Talking about this with a number of guys, people talk about teaching the backhand volley and this and that, but there's never a single match I've played where I haven't hit forehand volleys. You're always going to hit them. You got to learn how to do those as well. Those half-pace drives are not helping them. Do you think they're helping them at all, Guy?
No. This is exactly what happened the first part of the first set, and it's a very effective strategy. I think, again, I shouldn't say I think. I mean, we're seeing it, that they are hitting balls on purpose that are short to create the transition in order to set up the drop shot.
Yeah, see, there's an intentional short volley, and it's working wonders. He hasn't really converted on those. When he's getting Kaylor moving, they're just getting errors.
And with Regalado and Salazar, it's worth noting that even though they could stay out there all day like they did yesterday, and with that match with McNerney and Araya, at certain points in the match when they needed to stay out there as long as they did for points. I mean, there were points that were 150, 200 balls long. I think speeding this match up the way they're doing it certainly favors him.
And it's funny because people talk about a drop shot as something it's an offensive shot, or hitting a short ball. It can be an offensive play because they're drawing their opponents into a situation, drawing them out of position. And they're using that as a weapon. And then combining it with hard rollers or rollers right at the crease, it just keeps creating some movement.
And that's the thing that I've noticed about Regalado and Salazar too is, and it just shows a lot of depth in their game that they know. I like that switch there a lot. They know when to speed the point up and to slow it down. Which sometimes players that haven't been around or have that much experience like to play one speed, and that's how it's going to be no matter what. See here, they're slowing it down.
But we know, what's great about this is just the recognition, too, of kind of knowing that Broderick and Kaylor can stay out there and stay deep in the court and make 1,000 balls in a row, right? So they're just going to make them go into different positions. So Humphreys, Ossis, Koenig take the first set from Nunez and Bursch. And they had a tough go against Ong and Steinman in the round of 16. And it was tight there. They took it in 3 sets, but lost in 2. And, I was talking to Humphreys a little after the match, or this morning, actually, sorry. And he was just telling that it was a wake-up and it sharpened them up. Like it kind of dialed them into a better focus on things they need to do. That's just a great shot at his feet. And I'm not sure what Kaylor's doing there in the middle of nowhere. You either get back in or transition back, because that is the worst place to hit a volley from. Even if he makes that, it's popped up short. The other guy's going to come in and blitz.
Yeah, I agree with you. We all make, well, I'll put it this way. I like that play. There it is. Good. We sometimes don't hit the overhead as deep as we want or as good as we want, and then we're stuck. So, yeah, just recovering and moving back to the baseline there, or backing up even one step. So if it's hit hard, you can play it off the screen, puts you back in neutral.
Right.
But I'm wondering if Broderick and Kaylor are talking about, hey, when I'm hitting an overhead that I'm pushed back a little bit farther forward, where is my spot that I'm going to hit that ball? And even if it is driven, both of them agree on that spot, and they stay in front of the ball as a team. You got to know where that spot is. I don't know if that spot's Regalado's forehand.
Oh, they finally got him to press a little. Good defense. Went for the backhand cut winner.
Talking about forehand volleys, look at them.
Yep.
Let's see if Regalado and Salazar switch out here.
That's trouble. I mean, it's just so much court there. He picks away, but they're doing a great job softening their hands there. Great drop winner.
And, it's interesting, Brad, that, as many drop shots, and I think the drop shot has been the tail of this match. I mean, it worked in the first part of the first set when they went up 4-love, and it's working now. And they're not getting fooled by it. I mean, when someone's dropping you and they're standing on top of the net, that tells you they know it's coming. So either Broderick and Kaylor got to soften them up more and get them off the net before they drive, or they got to hit that ball with a lot more authority than the medium-paced ball that's getting dropped.
Yeah, because they're actually dropping each one. You can see it now. They're steadying their hands, and that's actually a good lesson to learn for a lot of club players. When the ball hits your paddle, you can squeeze, hold it firm, and then it's going to go back firm, or even give it a little push every now and then. But if to take the pace off, you got to let it absorb.
So, 2 things that are happening here, Brad. Again, we're going to stay where we stayed for the last few minutes. The drop shot when Salazar and Regalado are at the net, the difference maker, and that overhead into Regalado's forehand, difference maker. So those 2 things, if Broderick and Kaylor can adjust, the make a big difference in what's going on. That's just a great drive by Salazar.
Yeah, he puts it dipping low, and then you got Regalado coming in, and I guarantee you Kaylor's aware that he's on the move, and that's half the reason why he's missing it too. He's got one eye on Regalado, the other eye on the ball. Great return. All right, very few loose errors like that from these guys. They've been playing really well. It's a huge game. This is sort of like the first set back again. They just need to make their comeback. Broderick and Kaylor finally get an error, a loose error out of there from Salazar. And that sort of helped them get their comeback in that first set, 6-3. And there's 2 lob errors in a row. So here's their time to make the move. They got a game point.
Brad, you and I were talking earlier, too, about just the prize money this tournament has. $50,000. I mean, that's in the modern era, the most prize money that we've had in a tournament. Am I correct on that?
Yeah, I think it's there's the hard overhead that you love, and it was a good play. Still gets them to chase. Yeah, this one's $35,000. $50,000 is actually the APTA Cup.
Oh, the
That's
Tour
the prize
Cup,
money.
right?
Yep, at the end of which we were talking before with commentator Steve Sullivan. It's you know, they're in second place. You know, Salazar and Regalado. They've won 2 tournaments this year for the APTA
And
Cup.
Yeah, and that's $10,000 for first place, right? $5,000 for second in the Tour Cup.
Yeah, so you know, there's definitely money on the line for these guys.
Hey, that $50,000 throw-in was on purpose. You know, all these players said, "God, let's take it up a little bit from 35 to 50."
Broderick, Kaylor staying steady back there. That's the good look. Kaylor's going to look for that high forehand. That's the one shot he wants. That ball bouncing up. He's got a continental grip. He can kind of shove it down. Doesn't really have that quintessential topspin drive.
You'll see Broderick start to lob right into that gray area, right to Salazar's left, like that. He wants him to take that for that reason right there.
Yeah, that lob right between those guys has been sort of one spot they've definitely had some movement issues with and confusion issues with. That was right on the line, close one.
And the height of that lob is completely intentional, too. It's a little lower to give Salazar and Regalado less time to play it, so they end up hitting down on it.
Wow. Oh, he baits him into it. He got it just standing there like he's barely going to do anything or transition back, and he waits to the absolute moment that Broderick's going to hit it, and Broderick goes to the open space, and he uses his length and closes it off. Great job there from Regalado. You got to be careful with these guys with that long length. You're almost better off going right at them.
See if that lob goes down the line to Kaylor. Cross court. What do you think about Kaylor when he gets that lob, just pushing it back straight ahead instead of across the court to Regalado?
Oh, yeah, I think it's a much better move. I haven't really seen Salazar look to set up his forehand, but these guys, they're kind of a little, like, slippery like that. That's what I mean. He's never setting up. They kind of wait, stand around, and all of a sudden they're kind of quick with their drives. What makes them a tough team? He missed him.
Sorry, guys.
What What is he sorry about? Because he slapped it at him? I mean, it's a good play. There's nothing wrong. I think that's, yeah, that was long, right? Yeah, so, okay, game point here, break point here for Regalado and Salazar. Regalado returning. Oh, jeez. Just terrific work in that midcourt. Good defensive volleying there, and that's wide. All right, Guy, do you think Broderick Kaylor got another comeback from four love down?
Not the way this is going. The tempo is completely favoring Salazar and Regalado, and I think, you know, when they're playing Regalado over there, the ball has got to go to the screen. But you're also seeing what I think we all like to teach too. Know when you're winning the match and how to play like a front runner. You're seeing them transition more and putting more pressure on Kaylor and Broderick, and that's exactly what they should be doing.
Absolutely, and everything right now that's going on in the midcourt, and that, you know, you see the last couple of games there. Every point where they're getting drawn in and things are speeding up a little, it's favoring, you know, Regalado and Salazar. Like here again, he got him that time, but that's like 1 out of 5, you know.
Great move by Kaylor and great spot with that drive that he hit.
Yeah, he really caught him off the forehand side, which really doesn't matter much for Salazar and Regalado. You hit them on the forehand and the backhand, they just sort of stick their paddle out. I think we might see a 100-ball point here. Like kind of go into the hole, go ahead and win this point. That's dangerous shot again.
Yeah, the medium pace ball is going to, these guys their hands are so good, you can't kind of hit that probing shot there. Not when they're that close to the net.
Oh, he misses the easy cutter. Goes for it. He didn't quite set up. All right.
A little bit of life here, Brad.
A little bit. Yeah, but this, I mean, for me, this is a must-win game here for Broderick Kaylor. Still in the framework, 5 love. It's getting a little out of hand. Oh, he misses the drop. All right. That ball was tougher, though, because they've been getting him above the net. That one got underneath the net. Much harder shot to make from that spot.
Yeah.
All right, good job.
Here we are at 4-1. In collaboration with the APTA, Fusion is at the forefront of personalized gear and apparel. Backed by a team of seasoned industry experts, we provide exclusive access to high-end products from top-tier retail brands. All poised for customization with your club logo, team name, or corporate branding. Our streamlined approach guarantees a hassle-free shopping experience, complemented by custom online storefronts and swift ordering. Visit www.gearbyfusion.com and let Fusion seamlessly weave your branding into elite merchandise.
All right, so here we are. They're starting their march back, and Salazar misses a backhand. So see if they can build some momentum here. Broderick Kaylor did in the first set, got back to 4-all before surrendering 6-4. ball's called good. All right. I don't know. I saw it caught a little. It was a tough call. That was a tough one. It was called in, though, by the umpire, 15 all. Humphreys and Asses Koenig through Burrish and Nunez, 6-3, 6-love. So, man, they have sharpened it up for those guys. And if it, plays the way it's going right now, and they see Salazar and Regalado in the finals, but still a long way from that, those guys have had their number on the year. I think they've beaten them 2-3 times in a row. Or a version of Salazar. Salazar's Nunez, Salazar Regalado.
It's interesting, too, because Humphreys and Aussie's Connick they always had a plan for the season when they were going to play tournaments together, but playing with different partners like they have in the last month or so can keep that partnership fresh, too, and it gives other teams fewer looks at you. I heard Humphreys talking about that in Chicago, saying, hey,
that's such a good overhead. Yep.
Great overhead.
No, I agree, Guy. Yeah, keeping it fresh and playing with some different partners is a good idea. All right. Bing, bang, boom.
Wow.
2 games in a row for Broderick Kaylor. And it always seems to coincide with you get 1 or 2 errors out of the Salazar and Regalado, and then you capitalize. Let's really keep building this momentum a little bit. Good offensive volleying there from Kaylor that time. He was on top of the net. That time they went at him when the guys were there. They've been doing a good job pushing him off the net and then attacking. Huge difference.
Yeah, I almost want to see more of that where Kaylor's hanging up a little tighter than that and let Broderick take some more of those overheads that have been creating opportunities for Regalado on that ad side. And if Kaylor's going to take one, he needs to go hard into the side back. They'll shift over, and then they can move the ball back over towards Salazar, where they've been hitting most of the overheads anyways. But the fact of the matter is, with that type of net play and the patterns that Salazar and Regalado are creating, they're letting Regalado hurt them when they're most in trouble by the overhead not going to the wire.
Ooh, there's that lob. That spot right there definitely gets them in a bit of trouble.
That behind the back.
All right, Kaylor's got to see that, but I'd love to hear a call there from Broderick. It's almost like, a help call, something else. But Kaylor's got to see that ball coming at the screen, too, and make his move over. But that's a heck of a good overhead right at the crease.
Yeah, even the one before Broderick hit behind his back was Kaylor's. Kaylor's got a really good backhand drive. I wouldn't mind. That's a great spot right there, right between them. I wouldn't mind seeing, and Broderick's doing it, that lob down the line, but then maybe Kaylor driving down his line and create the movement back and forth. Because Salazar and Regalado just dial in at the net here. They just get settled and they're both near the service line, so they're not going to drop you from back there.
That's a good play there from Broderick, picking his spot and blitzing in. They still hit the short ball. They wanted him to come in, almost daring him into that. And that time Broderick gets the better of him. So real opportunity here. They are definitely building something. Gotta get this game, though.
You kind of wonder if Regalado and Salazar, I mean, if you look at the first set again, you look at the second set, almost identical in terms of what they were doing. If they recognize that is what was effective by volleying a little short, creating the transition to set up the drop shot.
Yeah, I think they do. Like right now, I'm actually curious. Like, I think Kaylor's going into a mode where he's just not going to miss a ball here. I don't think he's even looking to drive. He's more looking to try to set up Broderick a little. Broderick's playing around with the short balls and waiting for a really good strike. Broderick's coming all the way over there. He's playing basically 2/3 to 3/4 of the court.
And I was going to say earlier, too, I mean, if you're going to go away from Broderick, then it does set up Kaylor's forehand, too. And Kaylor's forehand that he likes the most is that ball off a short side screen.
Yeah, good play.
Or the ball off the backside that he can drive. Good cover by Broderick.
Oh, that was beautifully done by Regalado there. Every ball perfectly played. And when he played that second ball, he didn't go to the open court. He actually put it in a position behind Kaylor. Broderick came over to cover it. Then they were on top of each other. It was really well done.
And again, all of it started with that good drop shot.
That's the overhead. That's the lob right there. Get
Yeah,
Regalado.
that one's always going to be confusing for two righties. Just in that area where, yep, same one, right?
Yep. Oh, they keep doing it. They're going to get something eventually.
Good lob by Kaylor there.
Yeah, he baited him, pushed it right up over his head. It's a great lob, well placed. Oh. And he's holding that ball so well, Regalado. He's faking the drop, pushing it long. He faked it down up overhead, pushed it through Broderick. All the right plays. Big moment here.
Brad, what adjustment here? I mean, we're obviously down 40-30, 4-2. What quick adjustment you think Broderick and Kaylor can make?
You know, it's tough. Right now, they've just had a hard time, I think, only taking the big strikes. I really do not think any of the off-pace drives have helped them. I think they have to take the strike they're looking for and a little more intentional lobs and keep hammering away at that one spot that's working for them, like right there. But, you know, the other guys are giving them so little, and there's a miss on the soft ball. Great hold there from Regalado and Salazar. I mean, what advice would you give those guys right now?
It's like you said, I mean, it's tricky. I mean, we've all been there. You know, you kind of feel like, hey, I'm down 4-2, 40-30, now 5-2. You obviously errors are not something you know free points, but you're down 5-2 for a reason. So, I mean, it can become really basic and say, hey, the less I miss, the better I am. But I almost feel like the tempo of the match, you said it, the big strikes, but I feel like the lob to drive ratio should probably change a little bit here. I mean, this pace isn't favoring Broderick and Kaylor.
Yeah.
Speed it up somehow.
All right, well, down to the wire now. That's a surprising volley miss there from Kaylor. He doesn't miss those too often.
Not at all. I do think, though, Brad, when Salazar and Regalado have used the drop shot and used that shorter ball to pull Broderick and Kaylor in, they just keep them a little off balance, and they did it all the way up to 4-love and then stopped a little at 4-2, and then that last game they did it again. First set going up 4-love, same thing. I mean, that package of shots has been very successful.
They also got to take a few of these drives when they're driving behind these guys, or they're hitting to the open court too often, and then these guys just cut it off. They're so long, Salazar and Regalado. Like, that drive from Kaylor was good, but if he hits it down the line, Salazar's already breaking to the middle. Get him. All right, 2 points for the match here for Regalado and Salazar. And right after this match, of course, we're going right into the women's final. The top seeds out there, it's going to be a battle.
And we are match point.
And another short ball, right, causing that one.
Yep.
Oh, wow, well-spotted drive, and that finishes it off. Great match there from Regalado and Salazar.
Yeah, it certainly was, and Broderick and Kaylor had a great run, great partnership. Salazar and Regalado, good friends, great team. Interesting scheme with the drop shots, clearly effective. And these guys are on to the finals, and that'll be a great match against Humphreys and Ossex Koenig, right, Brad?
Should be a great one. Ossex Koenig, they have not had, and Humphreys have not had an answer for Salazar and partners on the season. So we'll see if they have one this time. But we got the ladies' final coming up, and that was a pleasure calling that with you, Guy.
Same here, Brad. And that's a wrap from the Detroit Invitational, semifinals of the men. We'll see you guys shortly for the ladies' finals.
Hello, this is John Weinlater with Volley, and we're here at the Philly Open having a great time. So exciting to be out here at the second Grand Prix event and seeing all the momentum that's being gathered this season. It's been great being a partner with the APTA, and we've been excited with all the momentum with Volley as well. And we're about ready to hit our 500,000th ball right now on all the trainers. So it's pretty exciting that people are finding the product and talking about it. To keep track of all the new stuff going on with Volley, follow us on social or visit our website, getvolley.com. Thank you.